Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start my third video now and talk about one other problem I had whenever I first started with my solar setup. As you'll notice, I have 4 batteries here that are not hooked up, and I'll kind of explain that here in a second. But one thing I did was I didn't really know, you'll notice there's a low input level light. Its input level's flashing right now because my batteries are pretty much charged up to the max. So anyway, I made the mistake of thinking that was a low voltage shutoff. Also, I guess just one of those oversights you have when you start. I thought that I read somewhere that when your voltage is low, your inverter will shut off, conserving your batteries. Well, that doesn't work like that. And as far as I know, there isn't anything that you can, tie into your system that will automatically shut off after it gets, to a low voltage. And I kind of thought, well, maybe my charge controller did that, but no. One thing you want to do is, if all this stuff is hooked up, you're going to be away for a while, you're using a lot of power, or whatever, if you're not paying attention to your setup, you can actually run your batteries dead because there isn't anything that shuts off the power to your batteries. So all of your ancillary equipment here that runs off your batteries, your charge controller, your inverter, can actually run your batteries dead even if it's not, even if your inverter is not on and your charge controller is. If you're away from it from a long time, it can actually drain your batteries. But what I did was I left the light on. I had my inverter on. I left a light on, a little 15-watt light, while I was gone for a couple days. And I came back and it had a low level light, and I just thought, well, it'll shut off whenever it gets too low, and I didn't really pay that much attention to it. Well, I ended up almost killing my batteries. I thought my batteries were dead, but they actually weren't. I took them to Batteries Plus, and they were very helpful about helping me with that. Basically, what I did was I thought my batteries were shot. I had a bad trickle charger, so it kept showing that they were dead. Well, they actually they stuck a voltmeter on it, and it was the batteries were actually had about 3 amps, or excuse me, about 3 volts apiece coming out. So they were actually good. So they actually saved my batteries. But I ended up buying 4 more because I thought those were dead. But just to kind of recap, your charge controller and your inverter will not shut off the power to your batteries. As far as I know, there isn't anything that will shut off once your voltage gets low. That's something you kind of have to, kind of monitor yourself. And again, I've looked all different places, and there's nothing that you can tie in, to say your inverter lines to kind of shut off after you've used, a lot of your power. And again, there's a low voltage light on my inverter, but that doesn't shut anything off. Your charge controller uses very, very little power, so maybe about, I think it said like 5 or 10 watts. So that's going to take a long time to, run your batteries down. So I just hope this helps save your batteries if you're kind of a beginner and don't know that, as I didn't. So, and again, just, keep track of your system. If your voltage starts to get low, you got several cloudy days in a row and you're using a lot of power, make sure that you, turn everything off or whatever. So